Have you ever paused in a grocery store and wondered if what's on the label is, actually what's in the package? Well, we're about to dive into some amazing new tech that's completely changing the game for food safety, making sure you get exactly what you paid for. So let's just get right to it with a question. That really nice bottle of extra virgin olive oil you bought, the one you chose for the flavor, the health benefits, what if it's been secretly topped up with cheap industrial seed oil? And look, this isn't just a scary thought. It's a real, massive, and kind of hidden global problem. Yeah, what we're talking about is food fraud. And it's not just a small-time thing. It's a sophisticated, multi-billion-dollar shadow industry. This isn't about a few bad apples. It's a systemic problem that affects the everyday stuff we all buy. And the scope here is just staggering. It goes way, way beyond olive oil. We're talking honey that gets watered down with cheap syrups, coffee, where your premium Arabica beans are mixed with cheaper ones. It even happens with spices like saffron, fish, meat, even fruit juices. Honestly, you've probably bought a fraudulent food product at some point and never even knew it. So why does this happen? Well, like the slide says, it really just boils down to money. It's purely economic. Fraudsters can make a much bigger profit by swapping out the good stuff for cheaper alternatives. It's a deception that not only rips us off, but really starts to chip away at the trust we have in our entire food supply chain. Right about now, you're probably thinking, okay, but don't we have ways to test for this stuff? And the answer is yeah, we do. For years, there's been a gold standard for analysis. The only catch? It's been almost completely out of reach for everyday, widespread use. To get how this all works, we need to talk about something called a chemical fingerprint. It's a cool concept. Just like your fingerprint is totally unique to you, every single substance, like real olive oil or pure honey, has its own unique molecular signature. And if you can read that signature, you know instantly if you're looking at the real deal or a fake. So that gold standard for reading these fingerprints, it's a technology called high-field NMR. And the best way to think about it is like a giant old-school mainframe computer from the 70s. It's this massive, room-sized machine that's unbelievably powerful, but it costs a fortune, needs super exotic stuff like liquid helium to run, and takes a whole team of scientists to operate. It's brilliant for sure, but totally impractical for your average food factory. But what if you could shrink all of that power down? What if you could take that massive mainframe computer and, stuff it into a box that fits on a desk? Well, guess what? That is exactly what has happened. A new technology is here, and it is an absolute game changer. It's called Benchtop FT-NMR. And this right here perfectly captures that huge leap in technology. We've literally gone from a machine that takes up an entire room to a compact little device that can sit right on a lab bench. It's the evolution from mainframe to personal computer, but for chemical analysis. So let's put them side by side, because this shows you the new reality for food testing. It's not a room-sized beast, it fits on a bench. It's not crazy expensive, it's way more affordable. It doesn't need any of those special cryogens, and it's designed to be used by regular technicians, not just a handful of elite scientists. For the very first time, this incredible testing power is actually accessible to the whole food industry. Okay, so we've got the tech. Now for the fun part. Let's see how it actually works in the real world to catch these fakes. And we're going to start with our old friend, olive oil, which is seriously one of the most counterfeited foods on the entire planet. The process itself is just beautifully simple. You take a little sample of oil, you pop it in the machine, and in just a few minutes, bam, it spits out that chemical fingerprint. Then, some really smart software compares that fingerprint against a huge database of thousands of authentic olive oil samples. If something is even a little bit off, if a cheaper oil has been mixed in, the algorithm flags it right away. And the sensitivity is just incredible. Get this. Studies show this little benchtop machine can detect contamination with cheaper seed oils at levels as low as 10%. Fakes that used to be almost impossible to catch on a big scale are now getting exposed. But it's not just oil. Let's move on to another product we all know and love, coffee. The common scam here is bulking out those expensive, flavorful Arabica beans with cheaper, harsher Robusta beans. Now, with coffee, the approach is a bit different. It's even more like detective work. The machine scans for one specific chemical marker, a molecule called 16-OMC, that is only found in Robusta beans. It's basically a chemical smoking gun. If the machine finds even a trace of it in a batch that says 100% Arabica, you know you've got a problem. And the sensitivity here is just, wow, it's phenomenal. This method is so precise it can spot Robusta contamination at levels as low as 1 to 2%. I mean, think about that. That's like finding a single needle in a very, very big haystack. All right, finally, let's take a look at honey. This is another one that's notorious for being diluted with cheap sweeteners like corn syrup or rice syrup just to bulk it up and make more money. For honey, the technique is different again. It's not about finding one single giveaway marker. Instead, the machine looks at the entire sugar profile, that whole chemical fingerprint we talked about. See, real honey has a very specific, natural ratio of different sugars. As soon as you add cheap syrups, that ratio gets thrown completely out of whack. The machine sees that altered fingerprint and instantly flags the sample as a fake. So, this technology is already an amazing weapon against food fraud. But honestly, catching fakes is just the beginning. The really exciting part is where this is all going, and what it means for the future of the food on your plate. Because these devices are so small and simple to use, companies can put them directly on the factory floor for real-time quality control. Just imagine a brewery that can monitor the fermentation of its beer minute by minute to make sure every batch is perfect. Or a dairy making sure the process for lactose-free milk is hitting the mark exactly. You could optimize how cheese ages to get the best flavor, or verify every single ingredient the second it arrives at the factory. What this all represents is a huge, fundamental shift in our thinking. We're moving beyond just reacting to fraud after it's already happened, and we're moving toward proactively guaranteeing quality, freshness, and authenticity at every single step of the food's journey, from the farm all the way to your kitchen. And this isn't science fiction anymore. This is the future that's being built right now. It leaves us with this really powerful question to think about. What would our food system look like if every single item could be instantly verified, guaranteeing that what you buy is always exactly what it claims to be?